level. The Connecticut Supreme Court has ruled that transsexuals are protected under existing sexual discrimination laws. Recently, a federal court found or ruled that there was sexual discrimination in hiring
the Library of Congress.
In the Library of Congress, a transsexual applied for a job and was rejected. However, this sort of thing goes to the Supreme Court. You have the balance of the court shifted too far in the other direction, then, I mean, do these rulings get held up on the national level? And right when we're seeing things get easier for transsexuals in this country, that could be scary.
Right. Right. Exactly. We don't want to take a step backwards.
Yeah, it's a twofold concern, not just whether or not going forward we'll be able to accomplish our goals of ensuring civil rights for transsexuals, but also that some of the gains that have been made would be overturned on challenges, on appeal.
Right.
Yeah.
On challenges, not on appeal, but.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's so it is. It is something that all these things are. Nothing stands by itself. All these things are interrelated, and it is going to be a very interesting time, I think.
Yep.
And so, certainly, on a local level, we have, our local politicians, and certainly we would love to have any of them that wanted to come and join us on the show. They could.
Open invitation to all local and state politicians.
Certainly, McCain and Obama aren't going to come on our show, although that would be a hoot, wouldn't it?
That would be fun.
That would be funny.
But if any
little public access show gets that kind of interview.
Well, you never know. Look at Joe the plumber. You never know what'll happen. But we can invite them. Guys, come on our show.
Send a representative if you don't want to come yourself.
Talk about transgender issues. Wow, what a thought. But anyway, all kidding aside, certainly we have our local politicians who certainly, depending on where you are, the districts here are such that you won't all have the same ones. But for the most part, I think that just about everybody that in this area has supported House Bill 5523. Is it?
I don't remember the number.
5523, I think it is, which just came out of the Judiciary Committee, and hopefully, which is that's the one that we've been trying to get for a long time now.
This, I think, will be the fourth year with it going up in front of the state senates, state house and state senate. Last year, it actually was. It was almost ready to be voted on, except they had an abbreviated session, and it ended up, even though it was called to the floor for a vote, it never actually made it. It was being sent to the floor. It come out of all the committees. This is adding gender identity and expression to the state's anti-discrimination law.
Right, which is something that is. Should happen. It's about time it happened. Certainly we are protected to some degree no matter what, but having the language in there is a good thing. And we would like to see that happen.
Right. I think having the language in there makes it more visible, really. I mean, the opponents to the legislation would say, well, look, you're protected by the Supreme Court decision, but making it visible and giving it teeth, is that what the phrase I'm looking for?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Certainly it has had a great deal of support in our legislature. I think that on the Judiciary Committee it was 34 to 6, I think. 34 in favor, 6 dissents. But and every time the thing has come up, that's been the case.
I think every year it's come up, it's garnered more and more support.
But it somehow still isn't happening. But we're hopeful for that.
It takes about 3 years or so, I'm told, for a bill to go through in the state. So if it takes a few years, it's not that much of a surprise.
Right.
So,
To raise the awareness and get the education taken care of.
it's a progressive state, but things turn a little more slowly than would be necessarily intuitive. But
Right.
it doesn't mean that we're not making progress.
Yeah.
I guess it's not a counsel of despair.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
As long as we're talking about that bill, a point that was made that is relevant to including gender identity and expression in the anti-discrimination laws is not just to protect transsexual people. Gender identity and expression protects anybody whose appearance and behavior is not consistent with the stereotype of what a man and a woman should look or act like. You know,
Right.
the point was made in an interview that I had heard that people don't typically get fired for being gay at work.
Yes.
When you're gay, you sleep with somebody of the same sex at home or wherever, not at work. People frequently, hopefully, depends on your job. People
might
get
be
fired
actionable.
because you'll hear people say they look gay or they act gay. The way they're presenting themselves is not consistent with what management expects of a man or a woman. Does that make it wrong? Is that worth, is that a reason to fire someone? And certainly you have concerns over corporate image. When you're dealing with a customer service position, you're dealing with the public, you want to present a certain image. But ultimately the question is, if someone is professional and courteous and clean and well-groomed, does it matter? Does it really matter? And if their gender expression, is not consistent, and especially in the positions that where you're not dealing with the public, does it matter? There was an article about a woman in New York City, Grand Central Terminal, I believe, that was actually arrested entering the women's bathroom. She didn't, according to the police officer, appear as a woman. She was dressed in a baseball cap and a flannel shirt and jeans, and she had short hair, and the cop saw her going into the women's room, and he thought he saw a man going into the women's restroom, and she was arrested. And obviously, she was released from prison or from jail, not prison, when they were able to validate her identity. But that's the kind of thing that you have to ask yourself, where do we stand as a society with that kind of issue?
That's interesting. Certainly you don't want to see that kind of thing happen. That it seems like a small thing, but I'm sure to that woman it wasn't a small thing at all.
No,
I'm sure that
she was suing.
a horrific experience.
Right.
But yeah, I think that you make a good point though that anything like this, it doesn't just protect us; it protects all of us.
Right.
And this is not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Contrary to probably what a lot of people think, it's not a bad thing. It's good for us. It's good for everybody. And I'll certainly argue that. But anyway, call us up. We'd love to talk to you. There's some other things.
We do
I
have
think we may actually have a call.
Top one, that was 7.
No, wrong one. Good evening, nlcTrans. You're on the air.
Yeah, good evening. I was looking to speak with Callie.
That would be me.
Hey, Callie, how the hell are you?
I'm good. How are
I
you?
am good. I'm calling to say thank you very much for the pumpkin cheesecake recipe.
Oh, you're welcome.
We said your show's on, but we don't get it where I
You don't
live,
get it
so-
while we're on. I'm sorry you can't see us, but you can hear us.
Oh, definitely. We don't get it where we live, so.
Well, we're working on that. We will get out your way one of these days.
Yay!
As soon as the major networks pick us up,
Hey.
we'll be on your end of the. Well, you're in Rhode Island, so
Correct.
So you're a little ways away. Which cheesecake did you try making them?
I'm going to do it this weekend, the pumpkin one.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is Callie's cooking here, but I didn't actually make the regular pumpkin cheesecake, but I made the pumpkin maple, and that was really good.
Good.
So,
I'll send you a piece.
Okay.
So how are things?
Things are great.
Yay.
You know, we're having a